Somehow, what remained of the boys managed to get their hands on Kimiko, and they also managed to help Kimiko obtain the Soldier Boy powers for her chest blast. In other words, Kimiko could now use the same chest blast that Soldier Boy has, and it's actually more powerful than Soldier Boy's this time. And the plan of Billy Butcher was to find a suit powerful enough so he could expose them to lethal doses of radiation for prolonged periods of time, creating a new Soldier Boy super. But unfortunately for them, because I did the Saitama training for many years and I used my molecule powers to reinforce my DNA, the Soldier Boy powers won't work on me anymore. But what it will do is piss me off, because I've never really done anything evil to these people, yet they try to kill me anyway, and it makes no sense for them to try and erase my powers, the same powers that has saved countless human lives, and for someone to be that evil that they would try to erase the powers of a true hero just because of a grudge. Then they deserve to die, because they are a psychopath. And honestly, I might just beat them all to death, because this time the boys actually deserve it, because I am not evil Homelander, I'm actually a real hero. So in other words, if Kimiko actually used that chest blast on me this time, and it definitely won't work, I'm going to beat all the boys' crew to death, probably simply because this time around they are pure evil. So they actually managed to use Translucent as a test dummy for Kimiko, and she blasted Translucent to Kingdom Come. But the blast actually didn't kill Translucent, it did something far worse, it permanently took away all of Translucent's powers, and that was a far worse fate for Translucent. So they let him go as a warning to me, but that intimidation tactic doesn't work on a true hero. Instead I asked Translucent, where did you last see them? And then Translucent told me, and he asked me, what about my powers, sir? And then I chuckled and said, what about them, you're staying human? And then Maeve and Starlight laughed at Translucent with glee, and I said, you don't deserve your powers, Translucent, you're a terrible person, and the world is a better place without you having your powers, and I wish you nothing really, and whatever, you're no longer part of the Seven, so take your things and leave the building. And then Translucent said, you have the ability to give me back my powers, please, I'm begging you, please give me back my powers. And then I said, get off me, and I shoved him to the ground, and I said, I'm glad you don't have your powers anymore, you sick bastard, you never deserved your powers to begin with, because you abused the powers you were given, and for that reason I will never give you your powers back. I've actually been wanting to fire you for a while now, Translucent, and now I finally have a reason. You're fired now, leave my building before I have you thrown out by security. And Translucent continued to grovel and beg, so I had our security team escort him out, and Queen Maeve and Starlight laughed at Translucent the whole time, because they hate Translucent too, mostly because he's a terrible person and a creep, so they were glad to see him finally get what Translucent deserved. And I honestly couldn't help but smile myself as security carried him away, and I saw the look on his face, nothing but pure despair, and it was all too satisfying to see a man like Translucent finally get what he truly deserves. And as they carried Translucent out, Translucent showed me and everyone else his true colors, and Translucent screamed out loudly, and he said, even if it's the last thing I do, I swear to God, Homelander, I will kill you. And then I said loudly, you can try, but you will fail, Translucent. And I actually recorded everything Translucent said, because I know threatening someone is actually a real crime. So yes, I recorded Translucent, and he's about to go to jail or prison really soon. And then I said, dumb son of a bitch. And then Maeve smirked and said, are you going to send him to prison? And then I waited until the security officers got Translucent in the elevator, and I said, oh, I'm definitely sending him to prison, because I'm betting a lot of his past rape victims will come forward and nail his ass. And then both Starlight and Queen Maeve smiled and said, thank you, John. And then I said, no problem, ladies, I hate that guy also, actually, because he would often be invisible around me also, and he thought I couldn't see him, but I could, so I'd allow him to think that I didn't notice him for a while just to watch what he would do. And you know what I found out? He's actually into men also, and I think he's also bisexual. I actually seen that sick bastard masturbating to me as well while he was invisible, and this went on for months until I finally said something to him while he was invisible, and I picked that dumb bastard up by his neck and I threw him out of my office when I caught him spying on me in my private room. So yes, I'm happy to send him to prison also.